You need to read or listen to the Joseph Walker Rescue Fire Report. Remember the thing that the government brought from America to investigate the fire, right? Those people report is damaging. No wonder why the government did not share it with the public. No, the report whole is a disgrace the government wholesale. Our police service or fire service, the thing what they say in our report is damaging. Listen to the journalist as you break it down. We have 4 different videos that we'll share with you just this week before Sunday so you can be able to understand what the report is saying. This is Informed Liberia today. We're not here, but we're here.
This conclusion was based on outdated methods such as excessive smoke color rather than current forensic standards or best practices. You know who the boy in the report again? Eh? So the many borehole in the police and the fire service investigation, that's why they didn't release the report. Let's continue. Shortly, let me read it again. However, this conclusion was based on outdated methods, such as assessing smoke color, rather than current forensic standards or best practices. Unaware of the weak foundation of this determination, unaware of the coming insult Gregor Como intelligently in the piece. This is the insult. Unaware of the weak foundation of this determination, both the Inspector General, who was present at the scene, and the President of Liberia repeated the ASON determination publicly, which was then broadcast across all media. You hear the insult, the intelligent insult? What he's saying is that other fire service people went and just stood up and look at the smoke. They call it, we call it a blue smoke. Okay. The found out a blue smoke, it means that arson. The fire investigators that Gregor Como brought in the country, they are saying Gregor Como was unaware. That means they're not an error. He has no knowledge about fire investigation, right? Joe Bagatu has no knowledge about fire investigation. So the two of them rely on the outdated method that was used by the Liberia National Fire Service and went publicly to announce that the cause of the fire on the Capitol Building was arson. Meaning people burn the building. That's what the investigators are saying in this report. Gregor Como is not a fire investigator. Joe Braga is nothing. He claims to be an agriculturist. So the two of them, unaware, meaning they're ignorant. The two of them are ignorant to fire investigation. They do not have capacity to establish cause of fire. The two of them went public to announce that the cause of the fire was arson. But their reliance was on the outdated investigation or outdated approach or method that was used by the OH fire director to determine the cause of the fire. And he said everybody in the country, including media institutions and all, they ran in and published it. Say that as only us were telling you, hey, the fire service does not have the technical capacity to determine the cause of that fire. Only some of us were on the radio saying that. Most of the media people carry really ran with it. There, yeah. The investigator, they went to America and brought it. They said no. Do you also know that the Americans, that the government went to the Americans, went to the U.S. Embassy and asked the U.S. Embassy to aid them in investigating the cause of the fire, and the U.S. Embassy said, no, we can't do it. Y'all go find someone else. It's in a report. The U.S. Embassy refused to allow or partner with the government of Liberia to establish or to investigate the cause of the fire because the U.S. government knows that this matter is political, is politically motivated, and they did not want to get involved with our domestic politics. That's why they refused. It's in the report. Let's go there. Let's go. Let's go. We not finish the report today. We'll finish it on Monday. If the report not running away, we exhaust the report. Small. The report there from first period to 6. They said, given the pressure of the state development. So they said the crime scene, which was covered in the rushing. So they said forensic standard for best practices. Unaware of the weak foundation of this determination, both the inspector general, who was present at the scene, and the president of Liberia repeated the arson determination publicly, which was then broadcast across all media. Let's go on. Given the pressure of the situation and the complexity of the scene, national authorities committed to seeking international assistance to properly determine the fire's cause and origin. The crime scene, which was covered in building debris, has been secured day and night with armed and unarmed guards at access points beginning December 19, 2024. In the weeks following the fire, the LNP, with support from the U.S. Embassy, submitted a request to the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, but was unsuccessful. So the minute ran to the U.S. Embassy, said, we're begging you, this is our request. Please submit our request to the U.S. government. So please come here, call our Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives to come here and help us to do an independent verification. The person said, no, our henna is another political thing. That is pure political. We follow the entire matter from the Capitol Building to the sporting of people car, the intimidation of lawmakers, and then the disrespect to the Supreme Court is political. We're not putting our own in either. So they fire people who they want to bring, who they brought here, put it in a report. They said in weeks following the fire, the LNP, with support from the U.S. Embassy, submitted a request to the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, but was unsuccessful. After multiple attempts, when you play it and they try, the person, y'all get off my face. Y'all get off our face. After multiple attempts, the LNP turned to Fire Rescue Alliance. So even the Fire Rescue Alliance that they brought from America, they are aware that the government, the LNP, on behalf of the government, made multiple attempts with the U.S. government through the U.S. Embassy to bring people here to aid them in the investigation. And the Americans, turned down their request. Ask them, the judge, the people, y'all need a report. Why do you think the Americans turn you down? Your whole Capitol Building, we are traditional ally to America. Our Capitol Building, that John Chimo is still is bearing the design. Is just as the U.S. warehouse, our Congress. And they will hear our building brand and they will turn out. I will turn our requests and our multiple attempts to have them come here and aid us in investigation. They turn it down. Why do you think they turn you down? Because they're aware that it's political and the president has already determined that an arson. The president opened a mall. Fire service said they did investigation. They established the arson. Then you tell yourself where American government through the U.S. Embassy asking the people to come here and investigate. What did they come here and establish now when the president has already announced that the arson? You think the Americans are stupid as some of you in government? They're not stupid. Just should have called the Americans first before announcing arson. But the president said there is an arson attack. The police inspector general emphasized and elevated that it was an arson attack on the Capitol Building. Then they finished informing the world. BBC already finished carrying that the Capitol Building was burned, that arson attack, and they have already arrested people. They were under investigation. Then they sat down and made a request to the U.S. government through the embassy to send their fire people here. That they suffer the train with taxpayers' money. They want the people to come here and can't do investigation. The first question is, suppose these people establish something contrary. We don't want to get involved in your illiterate behavior. So we're not honor your request. So these fire investigators are aware, so they included it in the report. He said that's how they turned to them. After they were turned down, so they turned to the Rescue Fire Alliance. An organization with a trusted history in Liberia, a 3-person fire rescue alliance team arrived in the capital on February 28, 2025 to conduct an independent investigation. The team was tasked with a very narrow scope. This is the demo. The team was tasked with a very narrow scope of work, evaluating the fire scene for the purpose of determining the cause and origin to the extent possible. But mind you, every Susan were already arrested and being investigated. Joseph Barker had already announced arson. Fire service had already announced arson before on February 28th. The fire investigators arrived. So they're indicating these things. And they said that their work was restricted. They called the people and restricted their work. That's what they're indicating here. Their investigation included working within the room of origin, sifting through debris, evaluating potential causes, and concluding an opinion as to where the fire began, how the fire began, and what led to the rapid fire growth. But in fire service already said that arson, and Joe Barker already announced arson, and the police director had already elevated that it was arson. They have already arrested people. They were already investigating. They were already torturing Tom Etheridge. Then they come back now. They say the Rescue Fire Alliance now must investigate to establish where the fire began from, to establish where the fire began, how the fire began, and what led to the fire, to the rapid growth of the fire.
Thank you for watching, and thanks to Austin Kawa from Freedom Hard Talk for sharing with us. Now, that was part 2 of the video. Later on, we'll share part 1. Then during the weekend, we'll share 3 and 4 so you can be able to understand what really happened in the Joseph Walker Capitol Building fire. Remember, CCP with Isa.